cats and kittens, and welcome to Blueprints. I've been watching Wade, aka Lord Minion 777, play this on his channel. You can check him out on YouTube. He's very easy to find. Just look for Mark's Friend. Actually, it's been a while since Wade and Bob have been relegated to just being Mark's Friend. So, anyway, I do know the answer to some of the puzzles, but there are so many puzzles in this game that it shouldn't matter. Plus, I've also been helping Don the Bassman play. He's not streaming it or anything, but I count helping him solve the puzzles as me solving the puzzles, so shouldn't be too cheaty, because I have been helping solve the puzzles myself, even though we've been watching Wade play and know some of the answers from him. We Don and I have gone through. He did just open room 46, and I'm giving stuff away, but they'll find that out in the intro of the game anyways. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get going. Actually, a little further ado because I need to clear my throat. Alright, that should be better. Yeah, sounds better. I did just have a upper respiratory infection, so I may end up coughing and whatnot, but I've got some cough drops and I've got some tea and water next to me, so hopefully I'll be okay. And now let's see if my controller will work on this. Don's been playing with the controller, but he's got the the PlayStation version, so let's see if the Steam version will play with a controller. If not, I'll have to get my keyboard out. I should have tested that before, but I wanted to start the game. Loading. Loading. We're at a place called Mount Holly. Hunts the holly leaves over the loading symbol. And here we go. Dagobah presents. Hopefully the music isn't too loud. I'll try to keep an eye on it. But I don't know how well I'll be able to control it. To me, it's rather loud, but it's looking okay on the OBS compared to my voice. So, that's our uncle. Well, a statue of our uncle, or a painting of our uncle. Painting.
I, Herbert S. Sinclair of the Mount Holly Estate at Reddington, do publish and declare this instrument my last will and testament, and hereby revoke all wills and codicils heretofore made by me. I give and bequeath to my grandnephew, Simon P. Jones, son of my dear niece, Mary Matthew, all of my right, title, and interest in, and to the house and land which I own near Mount Holly. The above provision and bequest is contingent on my aforementioned grandnephew discovering the location of the 46th room of my 45-room estate. The location of the room has been kept a secret from all the staff and servants of the manor, but I am confident that any heir worthy of the Sinclair legacy should have no trouble uncovering its whereabouts within a timely manner. Should my grandnephew fail to uncover this room or provide proof of his discovery to the executors of my will, then this gift shall lapse. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand this 18th day of March, 1993. Herbert S. Sinclair.
I think that's the only bit of voice acting in this, but I'm not positive. So there we are. We're Simon, the nephew who just inherited, and we are going into the room. Here we go. All right, let's see if the... Yes, it does. Okay. See the footstep counter up in the corner? That doesn't count how many steps I take, it counts how many rooms I've been in. That'll all be explained in this letter here. Open only in the event of my death. Simon, welcome to Mount Holly. You may not remember, but I have fond memories of your many visits here as a young boy, and I hope these rooms provide you with as much amusement as it did in those lost summer days. And forgive me, I'm not going to try to do his accent. You just heard his voice acting, you can imagine it. By the time you read this, I will assume you are fully aware of my last wishes and all the details of the bequest. Please do not mistake my intentions in giving you this challenge as a lack of confidence. I assure you, nothing could have been further from my mind when I chose you as my heir. With that said, there are a few ground rules of this commission covered in the fine print of my will that I feel I should bring to your attention. No tools or items may be brought onto the estate from the outside. Tools and items found on the estate may not be taken off the estate. You may not stay overnight. I don't suspect that any of these stipulations should prove an impediment for someone as resourceful as yourself, but it is very important to me that you start fresh each morning and not rely on the successes of the previous day. One final word of advice. Do not assume the rooms you find today will be the same rooms you find tomorrow. These grounds have provided me a home for the last half century, and even I am uncertain of which room lies beyond any particular door. Your grandmother used to say, "Don't go where the path leads, abandon the path and go where you want it to lead." With all my love and wishes, best of luck, Herbert S. Sinclair. And how do I exit? Okay, I just do that. Alright. And we'll grab that. We have our blueprint. You found the Mount Holly blueprint. This will serve as a useful map and inventory log during your adventure. You may access the blueprint by pressing right trigger. Yay! And here's the map. Also, we'll do that. And when we start moving, it should give us a little thing in the corner telling me that I can access it. And I'll show you that in a bit. But first, we're going to go look at the namesake, Mount Holly. See, it looks like a holly leaf. So, hence the name. And as I mentioned, I helped Don the Baseman solve some puzzles already, so rest assured, I'll still be clueless on a lot of stuff because there is a lot in this game. And it is also very reliant on RNG. And when I play D&D, my rolls are usually pretty bad. Though they can be pretty good sometimes. Whatever is dramatically appropriate. Also, I'm directionally challenged, so even though I know that there's an orchard out here, I can't remember how to get to it, even though I saw Don and Wade go to it multiple times. So here, this is my tent, which is where I actually stay. The campsite. Due to the rules set forth in your great uncle's will, you are not allowed to stay in the estate overnight. Luckily, however, your scouting skills have been put to good use to fabricate a very respectable off-site sleeping quarters. You may call it a day at any time from the blueprint menu RT to return to the campsite for the night. And this is the orchard. And this is the one bit that is kind of cheaty because I already know the code. And like I said, that's from me helping Don, which I count as me doing it because I helped. So, even though I'm not doing it on the stream, I did help solve the puzzle when Don played it. The apple orchard has been permanently unlocked and added to your campsite. Starting tomorrow, you will start each new day with an extra 20 steps. Yay! I was hitting the wrong button. Here we are. See a little smoke coming up because there's something down below heating, probably heating the ground. Oh, is there water in there or is it empty? I can't tell. Can't do anything with it anyways. And we have a sundial. Don't know if it has any significance. Here we are. We need this. And this will light up. Hey. It's a very pretty game too. And I love the music. Just hopefully it's not too loud. Here we go. Just want to wander around, check the place out. And there's important information here. Gardener's Logbook, April 10th, 1992 through blank. When I first came on the estate in the capacity of the new groundskeeper, I was a little dismayed to find that my predecessor had kept no notes, no logbook, and no record of any kind regarding the various gardens and green rooms of the house under his care. As a result of this improvidence, in the first few months of my post, I suffered a number of embarrassing professional blunders that I believe could have been avoided with even a few scraps of imparting wisdom from the previous groundsman. Gotta take a drink and clear my throat. To that end, I will make an effort to make some record of my dealings on the estate. Okay, let me make sure I did unmute myself after clearing my throat. I can't see my OBS because I've got notes in front of it. Okay, I did. Alright. And back to my notes. To that end, I will make an effort to make some record of my dealings on the estate as much as it pertains to horticulture and general tomfoolery. Robert Nagila, groundskeeper. Next page. Oh, it's thinking that, since I used my mouse, it's wanting me to keep using the keyboard, I guess. Now I'm stuck. Alright. Okay, guess I gotta keep with the keyboard then. Among my many commissioned duties, I have been tasked with the conservation and oversight of Mount Holly's alluring grounds. My domain stretches from gate to gate and encompasses the apple orchard, entrance drive, and east yard. Fortunately for my workload, the maintenance of the west grounds has not been a priority since Lady Epson's death and the ensuing closure of the west wing. Nevertheless, I take some pride in my work, so I still endeavor to brush the west path weekly, even if none but myself take notice. In addition to maintaining the grounds, there are 8 green rooms within the house that require some level of upkeep and light groundskeeping. The majority of these, I discovered, are only draftable on the perimeter of the house, along with the east and west wings. The terrace, patio, veranda, morning room, greenhouse, and secret garden all fall within this category. The soil survey. One of the first tasks I undertook as groundskeeper was to conduct a survey of the various plots of soil underneath each slot on both the east and west wings of the house, and while I would have preferred a full survey of all 45 plots of the house, it was clear that the inconvenience such an undertaking would produce was in no way worth the extra data, especially considering the rooms that would benefit from this survey only ever appear in the wings. To quantify soil quality, I measured the soil's capacity to support crop growth and maximize the promise of high yields. The survey ended up taking 2 weeks due to some difficulty reaching the higher ranks, but the project was well worth the effort. As suspected, the room position has a direct relationship to the amount of fruit spread from gardens and the amount of flowers that can bloom in a greenhouse. That's important later. I am going to take a screenshot of that. So just take a moment. So this tells me where it's a good place to put the various garden rooms. Paste that on my Excel sheet and make it a small enough picture for me to be able to use it, because I can't even see it in the size that it copied at. Let's too big. Alright, because I gotta try to keep my Excel sheet small enough to be able to see other stuff. And since my controller is no longer working because I was using my mouse to navigate between windows, I need to get my little keyboard out. My keyboard. I don't think my. It doesn't work. Well, it was working, but then I used my mouse, and now it won't switch back to the keyboard to the controller. Thank you. Whoops. Don just helped me get my keyboard. I need that. Yeah. I was gonna use my razor, but I don't see it. So I'm using my Red Dragon. Which,
oh, your razor?
I don't know where it is.
Found your switch.
He found my switch. That doesn't help us. I thought the razor was in a drawer. Where's the plug?
I did the parlor puzzle by myself.
Yay! He's playing Blueprints himself and just did the parlor puzzle by himself. That's why I said yay. I've been helping him with the parlor puzzle. No, Benny, I know that just landed in your face, but it's not for you to chew on. There we go. Now it's not in your face. No temptation, no chew. No chewing the cord. Alright. So here we go. I don't know if I need the keyboard to maneuver to walk around or if I'll be able to use the mouse, but we'll see. Yeah, we just read all that. Next page. Smudge pots. Oh, that's the stuff that was smoking out there. And the gasoline valve. Okay. Gasoline valve. So I have seen this page when helping Don, but I just didn't remember. Like I mentioned, my memory is bad, so that should mitigate some of the kind of cheating feel. A few years ago, the Baron made the long overdue decision to switch from gas lighting to electrical power. The installation of the new system was a substantial undertaking as almost every room in the house had to be equipped with new fixtures and wiring. Thankfully, these renovations did not extend beyond the mansion's interior, and all the lamps and equipment used outside of the house are still connected and powered by gas line, including but not limited to the orchard smudge pots. The smudge pots found among the apple trees here in the orchard are a critical necessity thanks to the cold temperatures and high altitude of the estate. These gas burning stack heaters prevent frost and should be kept on during the winter months to ensure a daily yield of apples. When the smudge pots are not in use, the orchard's gas lines should be turned off to conserve resources for the estate's other gas-powered machinery and appliances. So that's what we did. We moved the gas line valve. After a few months of idleness, I finally have a new cause to champion, and I have submitted a request for a change of scenery. Specifically, I would like to replace the statue of Orinda, currently in the cloister, with the much more appropriate angel Rina or Rhino. After all, as beautiful as the statue is, shouldn't the greenery of Mount Holly be governed by the paragon of gardening? Though amused, I do not think Anne took the request too seriously, though she did humor me and listen to me rave and pontificate on the subject for the better part of our lunch yesterday. And she wonders why I avoid tending the cloister. Truth be told, I've forgotten how to access the inner garth and am too scared of chastisement to probe for the particulars for a third time. My best rendition, pretty good considering I have only ever seen Rhina's depiction in the chapel. So it's an angel with a hoe. And that's that. So we go back, turn around, and here we go. So let's look around in here a little more, because I noticed something when Don was playing. Yeah. See, that is a little pedestal, and we will see the significance of that in a little bit. So yeah, I do need the, wait, let me see. Yeah, do need the keyboard to move around, so very grateful to Don for handing that to me when I messed up my controller by daring to click outside the game and use my mouse to get my notes going. Let's see what's down here. Yeah, I'm down to 45 stats. Oh yeah, that opens up later on. with some of the stuff that is governed by RNG. Now let's go into the oh so fun RNG and puzzle solving bit. That was just a lot of exposition and information dump on how some of the stuff works. Should we go through this gate? No. You see the trees? And look at the mountains and the beautiful scenery and the not so beautiful power lines. Kind of interesting that in the 1990s, 1992, the estate was fixed up to work with electricity instead of gas. But with as big as the place is, it's understandable that they didn't want to undertake that task. So here we go. We've got 3 doors. Let's go to the right. We can go to the bedroom, the closet, or the hallway. We see the bedroom has a door that goes that way. Closet is a dead end. Hallway has 3 doors. And if I hit tab, I can see what way it will go. So bedroom will go up, closet dead end, hallway can continue going to the right and go up. So we're going to go with the hallway, even though the bedroom would get us steps. We don't want to limit our choices of where to go quite yet. So let's look around in the hallway. We'll look at that in a moment. I'm just going to look around the whole hallway right now. Let's see. Alright, here we have a tree and a pin. This is a pine and a pin. So there's 1 letter difference between the 2. And let me see. Oh, that brings that up. And let's maybe be able to go out here. And I'm going to put this as the hallway. Just making notes. And it gave us an E. I already know the answer to this puzzle, but I do want to keep track just to see if I can figure out all the paintings on my own instead of with Don or watching Wade. So here we go. Doors in the west wing are more likely to be locked. And the west wing is actually the name of a room. It's not a directional thing. So let's see.
No.
Well, it is directional,
The west
but
wing is on the western side, but the west wing hall.
okay, west wing is on the western side. There's the west wing hall. So let's see. Den, we can go that way or up. Nook, we can go to the right. And corridor is always left unlocked, but it limits where we can go. But then again, the entrance hall will go up this way anyway, so we could go with the corridor, or the dem will give us a gem. Let's get a gem. There's the gem. We gotta get over to it. There we go. And we have, that's the time, bath, and bat. So this one is an H. We are in the den, and we got an H. So it's interesting to be playing this myself, and not just like yelling at the screen as we watch Wade play, or telling Don where to go, or ask him, so what are you gonna do now? Because I'm the one doing it now. Alright. We have some swans. Lots of clocks. Let's go this way. Lavatory's dead end. Corridor would go up. Spare room goes up. So we know there won't be any locked doors. Really, I'd like to go to the right, but the hallway can get us to the right anyways. Yeah, let's go to let's do a corridor, because we know the door will be unlocked. Is there anything in here? There's not even any paintings in here. Oh wait, there are. There's a clock and a lock. So this is a C. So we're in the corridor. And we have a C. Alright. And back to it. And we have a hat. Let's go put the hat on. Alright, so like I said, I'm directionally challenged, so I'm always going to be pulling up the map like this. So we can keep going north, or we can go to the left. Or dead end. I don't want a dead end. So let's get some footsteps. See if there's anything in here. There's a hat. There's a pawn. I'm not going to make note of that because I already have notes of where the chess pieces are, but it is significant. And here we have a tree. And okay, so that one's fire. And yes, this is a tree. It is a particular type of tree. It's a fir tree. So fir and fire. So our letter for here is E. So here in the bedroom, we have an E. Alright. And there's the corridor. Let's go ahead and go this way. It's locked. Alright. That's why we like having options. Let's do a little more thorough search. Look on the floor and stuff. See if we're missing a key or any coins or anything. Here we have greetings from Reddington. Alright. Anything here? Can we play with the origami swan? No? Alright, here we go. Let's go back here. Why are you pointing down? Okay.
You need to talk up louder.
I need to talk up
Rio's
louder.
watching.
Rio.
Yeah, Rio. Rio.
Hi, Rio. Oh, I'm incredibly quiet. Sorry. Uh, yeah, it is a great game. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. You know how I get pretty focused and can't see the chat. So, but if you see anything, feel free to yell and let me adjust the volume tab so I can move over to my OBS. And is that better? Or is the music too loud? Is my voice any better now? Alright, so let's continue. Let me know if I'm still too quiet. I just got distracted because Don just got the battery pack on his screen. Okay, where was I going? Did I already write down the bath and the bat? Yeah, that's the H in here. Okay, I gotta move my notes back up to the top so I can see, because there's not a lot of use in taking notes and not being able to see them. There we go. Alright. Got that, and here we go. Good, it's not locked. Yeah. Closet will be a dead end. We don't want a dead end. We're blocking off a door from the entrance hall. Pantry would just all blocks us off, and we don't have a reroll. So do we want money or a key? I also know the pantry will also have a piece of fruit. And at least we still have another way out of the entrance hall. We can go to the west, and the bedroom will let us go to the west, and then the hallway to the east. So let's get some money and some steps. So the apple gives us 2 steps. We get some money, and we have what is probably a puzzle or a math problem. Bridget, please pick up some more fruit before Friday, as we have just been informed that we may have an extra guest exploring the house next week. 50 steps should be more than enough, so I think an even spread would be ideal. 5 apples, 5 bananas, 5 oranges. The enclosed amount should cover expenses, but please bring back any change from the order and leave it in the pantry. So we know the 5 apples are worth 2. The apples are worth 2. Apples 2. And since there's 5, so we know that 10 steps come from apples. 50 minus 25, because we got 10 for the apples. So that means the oranges, 5 oranges equals 25. So that means the oranges are worth 5. Because 5 times 5 is 25. And that all equals 50. Just a little math problem that I don't